What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hubler Auto Group Coach's Corner. I'm Thomas Crow, and with me today is my dressed up partner, Brian Powers.
I'm sorry, I'm here to work. Unlike you, just your warm-up suit here. But we're with someone who is always here to work. We're here with FCHS wrestling coach and really Indiana high school wrestling legend, Mr. Jim Tonte. Coach, how's it going?
Good. Let's not get carried away with that legend stuff, though. So you're only as good as your next match. So.
When you've taken two teams to state championships, two different schools. Yeah. I mean, it's the word speaks. That
Nothing
speaks
you and I have ever
done. I haven't done that. That speaks for itself. So you're 1-0 on the year.
Yep.
55-15 winners against Jeffersonville last week, and it was called Rage in the Cage. Mm-hmm. What is Rage in the Cage?
So it was pretty cool. Last year, Jeffersonville came here, and we did Rage on the stage, and we had a pretty cool light show, had music, and had big screen TVs and everything. Man, they did a great job down here. And Rage on the stage was a big hit. They were supposed to come back this year, and we wanted to do it again, but with some COVID restrictions in the auditorium and them not being able to stay all night because they have a meet Saturday in Indy as well. They said, hey, come on out here and we'll do Rage in the Cage. So we wrestled outside. It was about 64, 65 degrees down towards Louisville Friday night. It was beautiful. Wrestled the mats on the tennis courts. It was pretty cool. They got a neat setting because they have like a 2-level place right above the tennis courts where they had all the music, and they had the announcers and scores table up high. And then fans were outside on the in the stands behind the gated area on the tennis court. So it was nice, man. It was different, but following Rage on the stage with Rage in the Cage was pretty cool.
Does it change the dynamic of it at all, wrestling outside?
Once the whistle blows, the whistle blows. It's no. And I've done this before. There's been, those mats float. We've actually thrown mats in the pool before, and I've practiced on the mats in the pool for balance. They float pretty good. Like, they'll get a little water on top of them, but and I've had teams where we take the mat outside in the spring and practice outside. Wrestling, during wrestling season where it's dark when the kids usually are here in morning practice, and then it's dark when they leave in the evening, they don't get to see daylight a lot, and they're beating the heck out of each other in a hot wrestling room, so anytime you get a chance to do something different, it's pretty cool for the kids.
Yeah. So you're returning the Fantastic Four, as you called them last year. Are you returning all of them, or are there 3 of them?
Well, Ethan Nash, we called them the Fantastic Four, but I threw 5 in there because Tyler Fuquay was a returning state qualifier but didn't make it last year. So we do have 4 state qualifiers back. Ethan Nash is wrestling at Trine University as one of the state qualifiers from last year, but with the 3 that are back from last year, Harris Eason, Jalen Ward, and Jacob Johnson, and then adding Tyler as a state qualifier from 2 years ago, we have 4 returning state qualifiers.
And Tyler won his 100th match this
Yep,
weekend?
and it was pretty cool that Jeffersonville did it. I had told him ahead of time, I said, look, Coach, I'm not saying we're going to beat your kid, but when we beat your kid, it's going to be his 100th win. And would you guys mind announcing it? And Danny Struck's a great guy over at Jeffersonville, and they kind of did a big deal for him and announced it there.
Yeah. So your team, I mean, just give us an idea of what we're looking at with your team. I mean, you guys are ranked high, and just expectations very high. So tell us about it.
Yeah. So there's the team state duels are in January, and there's kind of 2 ways you can win a state championship in wrestling. The Coaches Association team state duels in January, and then the IHSA individual tournament in February. In the duels, it's classed 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, and this is the first year for 3A. It's been 1, 2, and 3, and schools like Franklin were actually lumped into 3A with schools like Carmel and Warren, and just, you're talking 1,500 versus 4,000. So they decided this year to the Coach Association to go to a 3A, and it's based upon, invited to the team state duels is based upon a math equation with your kids from last year and how they did. and who's returning. So we were number 1 in points from kids returning. And then going into this year in 3A, and there's 2 different polls. Hoosier Matt has this ranked number 1 in 3A, and Indiana Matt has this ranked 3rd. So pretty cool. Because of COVID, the team state duels are always at the Fort Wayne Coliseum in Fort Wayne, Indiana. But because of COVID, they wanted to spread the teams out. So 4A is going to be in Brownsburg, and 3A is going to be in Franklin.
Nice.
So we'll be wrestling the team state. The chance to get a blue ring right here in our own gym on January 2nd.
That's pretty cool. So with COVID, as you mentioned earlier, as a coach, are there any, is it just kind of in the back of your mind? Do you guys take extra precautions? How do you guys handle all that?
Well, it's good you said. There's a couple things that when we went to, our JV went to Columbus East on Saturday, and honestly, if there's a model to follow with what Columbus East did, they did all the right things from a COVID standpoint and their athletic director's like, look, we'll host tournaments every weekend as long as we can get teams to do what everybody did today. Our black and gold inter squad that we had a week ago Wednesday, we kind of did the same thing. Everybody, our team chairs are separated. Everybody was masked up. The referees don't raise your hand anymore. You have to raise it yourself when you win. You don't have to go shake the other coach's hand. Keeping all the equipment clean, making sure kids, clean their hands before and after a match, all those kind of things. So yeah, it's, right now, man, it's kind of sad because the competition level, we're going into a match with Perry Meridian next Tuesday, a highly ranked team. I really feel like we could beat them. They wrestled Jeffersonville the day after we did, and it was 44-28 with Jeffersonville with them. So matchup's pretty good. But we got some potential contact tracing with our kids. So I may or may not have my full lineup. And that's going to happen with everybody this year. So it just depends on when you hit a dual meet. You might come up against a team that you're not supposed to beat and beat them because some guys are out, and vice versa. So it's you're rolling the dice right now, really.
Yeah. So who are some of the other guys we talked about, the 4? Who are some of the other people on your team and some of the expectations you have for them?
Well, we actually put 5 freshman and sophomore combination out of the 14 out against Jeffersonville because we had some kids out due to COVID and contact tracing. So that was kind of cool in itself. But we have our lineup, 106, at least right now, what it was at Jeffersonville was a freshman, Ryan Million. 113 was another freshman, Luke Beckert, who placed at middle school state last year as a really good up-and-coming kid. 120 was Caleb Wiss, who as a freshman last year won the conference. 126, a junior, Dason Lashley. 132, Jake Beckert, who's a 2-time semi-state qualifier as a senior. And that, you talk about that group of guys I mentioned, Jake's been knocking on the door of state for a couple years now. So he's right there. And really, I think if everything goes, as planned this year, he has a good opportunity to make it to the state finals as well. Ethan Jeffrey at 138, another junior. Jude Barger, another junior at 145. Noah McCann's another senior at 152, and Noah was a semi-state qualifier last year. So it's another, and he lost a 4-1 match at Jeffersonville, but that kid was a 2-time semi-state qualifier and is a pretty highly ranked kid. So it was a good match, close match. So Noah's right there. 160, we had another junior, Caleb Ingram. So you'll hear junior a lot. We at 170 was Tyler. We talked about Tyler and Jalen at 182. 195, Harris Easton. So those 3 in a row were all state qualifiers. Yeah. 220 is most likely going to be Nolan Skaggs when he gets back this week. We actually we bumped Jalen Ward all the way up to 220 this past week, and he had to weigh over 182. So we ate and drank all day. Everybody's like, "Oh, wrestlers all cut weight." We're trying to get him as much weight. Jalen weighed 182.3. He had to weigh over 182 to make him a 195 pounder, and then if you can bump up a weight class. So he wrestled a 220 pounder weighing about 182.3 and threw the guy on his head and pinned him pretty quick. So that was pretty good for us. And then Jacob Johnson, another junior, state qualifier at heavyweight. So that was the lineup that we went with on Friday night.
Now you have some girls too?
Lainey Clark, she is actually, I think, ranked in the top 4 in the state right now. And the girls regional, to get to the state, we actually host here at Franklin. So it's, I think, January 9th or 10th. So it's a Friday night. We host the regional. They have to place top 4 there. Last year she placed top 4 and then went to the state and got 5th at the state. So we're expecting the same thing out of her to be on the podium this year.
And in a team sport like, I don't know, basketball, it's an air ball, and football, it's, I don't know, throw it out of bounds or something. But you've been doing this for a while, so what's kind of just the goofiest or the craziest thing you've ever seen in a wrestling match?
I've seen some crazy things. Our first time to ever get a ring, state runner-up at Perry, because we had been runner-ups 5 times before we won it 4 times. And there was a point at Perry I was like, man, I'm never going to win this darn thing. 5-time runner-up, and then we got on this roll and won it 4 times. But the first time that we got our red ring that runner-up, the dual meet was tied 32-32. The first criteria on a dual meet is there any unsportsmanlike? Well, one of their kids, a really good kid, ended up wrestling at IU, got beat by our kid, and we kind of put on the skates at the end, and we're backing up, and there was only like 2 seconds left, and he shoved our kid into the stands and got a team point taken away, which tied the dual meet and first criteria. So that kid had to ride home with their team not getting a ring, and we got beat by Evansville Mater Dei in the finals, who had won 11 state titles in a row. But got a red ring for the season. So all because the kid shoved somebody into the stands. He shoved him good. Our kid went flipping over 2 rows, and I think LeBron did. He played it up really good.
Okay, I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
So you've done the rage in the cage, the rage on the stage. You've got all kinds of different things that have just been fantastic, and
There's a golf outing.
Yeah, and you're full of ideas. So is there an idea that what's like your biggest idea, the thing that it's like you've got unlimited money, you've got anything you want, we can pull it off?
Well, this is the rage. If we were going to stay here and able to wrestle in the auditorium, it was already a done deal. I had ordered, but I hadn't paid for or hadn't made yet, fluorescent singlets, and we were going to do black lights, and we were going to wrestle with black lights and fluorescent singlets. It would have been pretty cool. It would have been pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Man, I love to make the sport fun. You got to be innovative. I've already told Jeffersonville I'm not sure next year battle amongst the cattle. I don't know, fight under the streetlights. We're thinking of whatever we can right now, but we're going to do something.
As long as it rhymes.
Yeah, as long as it rhymes, it's got to rhyme. So
Well, they've got cage and stage.
Right.
I don't know what else
Battle
we can do
of
for that.
cats.
So we gotta.
Yeah, if we go in I've told our kids this was going to happen. We really want to make, if it's nice enough in November, but I'm already planning this and had it planned last year. We were going to wrestle downtown Franklin on a Friday night in the spring against, bring Perry's club and our club, little kids all the way through high school, put the mat, on a Friday night at 7 o'clock, people downtown Franklin going to the pubs and going to the pizza places and everything. And it's usually a pretty good crowd on a Friday night in Franklin. We were going to do a meet right downtown.
Yeah.
And I really want to do that. Like if Jeffersonville next year, if it's going to be nice enough in November, if we could still do it, I would love to do our dual meet downtown, right there by the courthouse or around the middle of town somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So.
Well, Coach, my final question is, how many shoes do you have now? Pairs of shoes.
I don't know if my wife watches this, but I snuck off to Edinburgh yesterday and got me another pair. So now I got 226. So. We just built our new house. We've been building since I got here. And it's finished up. We've been in there for about 3 weeks now. She had extra shelves put in the closet just for my shoes. So everybody's got some kind of weird thing they do, and I think that's my issue.
We'd like to Coach's Corner on the road. Just do a full closet view of Coach's shoes.
Shoes, yeah.
I think I'm being conservative when I say 226, by the way.
All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate your time. We wish you the best of luck throughout
you.
the entire season. And hopefully, like you said, we get a blue ring at some point.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. It's the goal.
All right, well, for head wrestling coach, Coach Tonte, my partner, Brian Powers, I'm Thomas Crow, and this has been Hubler Auto Group Coach's Corner.
Hubler is proud to be the official sponsor of Franklin Athletics. Score massive savings on all your favorite brands. Plus, get our 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty included. For all auto needs, just click drivehubler.com. Let's go, Grizzly Cubs!